The last 24 hours, we've had 36 people die with COVID-19, and can I extend, on behalf of the people of New South Wales, our condolences and our thoughts and prayers and hearts go out to all those families who have lost a loved one at this time. We often, over the last 2 years, we can get focused on reporting the numbers. We shouldn't forget behind every one of those numbers is a loved one who may have passed away, or somebody who's in hospital or in ICU and going through a very difficult time. Can I extend my gratitude and thanks on behalf of the people of New South Wales to our health workers, each and every day on the front line, keeping people safe and looking after people's health care. They are an inspiration to all of us. It's been a difficult 2 years for everybody here in New South Wales, across the country, but our health workers have been there day in, day out, ensuring we have the best care and support available to us during this COVID outbreak. And so I want to really extend my gratitude to our nurses, our doctors, allied health professionals, our paramedics right across the board who are working tirelessly throughout this pandemic. It's been a difficult 2 years, but going through this latest outbreak on the front line, providing that care, that support to those who need it. I want to thank people right across New South Wales for the continued efforts, the continued sacrifices that people are making each and every day. Obviously, at the moment, as we move through this phase, there's a number of rules that are in place. They're obviously not there for the sake of it, and I want to thank everybody for following them. So whether that's the isolation period, which I know is difficult for those who have uploaded a rapid antigen test and it's been positive, or received a PCR test and it's positive, that effort to isolate for 7 days ensures that we keep our community safe during this period of time. And I want to thank everybody across the state for everything they're doing as we move through this phase, particularly what's been a difficult summer. But things like wearing masks, having gatherings outdoors. I know many people are doing that. We're seeing that at restaurants and cafes, more people sitting outdoors than indoors. It's incredibly important as we move through this next phase, and I know that everyone across our state is making those efforts, some small, some big, but all those efforts combined together ensure that we'll come out of this pandemic, outside this wave, stronger on the other side. There are difficulties. We've had difficulties over 2 years, and I know many people are tired of the challenges, are tired of those efforts. But that sustained effort, that sustained sacrifice that people have made has ensured that we've kept our communities safe, and ensures that as we move through this next phase, we'll come out stronger on the other side. I want to make a particular mention today of boosters. It's very pleasing today that we've almost hit 50% of the eligible population here in New South Wales who are receiving a booster shot. The evidence is very clear. Booster shots, vaccination, makes a real difference in protecting you, your friends and your family. We have close now 270,000 booster shots available to be administered a week just in our hubs alone. Ultimately, we know that many people will receive that booster shot through their GP and their pharmacies, but that support is provided by the New South Wales Government at 40 of our hubs across the board. And as we move through the coming months, more people will become eligible to receive that booster shot. And I just ask everybody across the state, it's very clear if we look at the ICUs here in New South Wales, and we see that 50 of the 209 people in ICU, once again we're seeing around 50% of people who are in those ICUs are unvaccinated. That's at a time when 95% of our population is vaccinated. So the numbers don't lie. The evidence is clear. Vaccinations, booster shots make a real difference in protecting you, your friends and your family. So continue that effort. If your time of 4 months as we come through this phase since your second dose vaccination, please make a booking. Susan Pearce will speak further to this, but there is substantial capacity in our hubs as well to either walk in or make that appointment, and I ask that people go and do that. We've made those efforts to get to that 95% vaccination rate, a rate we never believed that we would have achieved. But that effort that people have made across New South Wales has ensured that we're able to keep people safe, reduce pressure on the health system as we move through this phase. So I ask you to continue to make those efforts. I'll also just make a comment in relation to rapid antigen tests. We had over 1 million rapid antigen tests here in New South Wales procured by our government arrive yesterday. We'll have millions more arrive over the course of this week. They will be crucial in ensuring that we provide support for our health workers at this time to get schools open on the first day of term 1 this year. It's incredibly important that we get schools back on day 1. That is the commitment of this government, and we'll be doing so in a way that is safe for students, for parents and for teachers. As the World Health Organisation says, schools should be the first to open and the last to close. It's incredibly important for our children's educational outcomes, for their mental health, for their social understanding, that we are able to get kids back as quickly as possible, and that's why we are committed here in New South Wales to doing that on day 1, term 1. As a parent, I appreciate that many parents across the state are anxious about kids going back to school. We are working day and night with our health teams and with our education teams here in New South Wales to ensure we have a safe environment for parents, for teachers and for students. Now, in saying that, I know as we move through this period of time, just like we had last year, there'll be further inconveniences. There'll be bumps and hurdles along the way as we move through. We can't let perfection be the enemy of the good, and our focus is to ensure we have kids back at school on day 1. It's incredibly important, not just for their health, but for their educational outcomes, and we'll continue to work through that process as we take, alongside other states, we're working very closely with the Victorian government to ensure that we provide those operational plans at National Cabinet on Thursday, and then we'll release those plans following that. Lastly, I'd just say, despite the challenges and the difficulties that are facing our state, they are not unique to the rest of the world. But as a state and as a people, we will get through this and come out stronger the other side. We've done that over the last 2 years. Many people have made extraordinary efforts. Many people have made extraordinary sacrifices. But that effort, that sustained sacrifice, that patience, and continuing to keep and treat people with kindness and respect, they're the values that make our state great, and they are the values that will get us through this next challenging time. I'm now going to pass